Women all across our churches are battling unwanted sexual behaviors. They are stuck in shameful cycles of lust, pornography, sending pictures via social media, romance novels, masturbation, and so much more. These women want to be free. They hate their struggles in sin, but they are lost and alone. Today, I want to shine light on this issue so that our women know that they are not alone. Listen to me, sister and friend. The belief that you are somehow the only one struggling with this issue is simply not true. There are many women suffering in silence with you. Today, let's get this truth out of the dark and into the light and look at a couple of things that you can do to fight your sexual addiction and win your freedom. Hello again, friend, and welcome back to Sex Addicted Christian. I'm your guide, Jimmy Trent, and we are here to crush the shame, cultivate community, uncover the unseen, and take action. Today, we are going to expose the lie that women simply don't struggle with sexual addiction. I want to offer hope and healing for you women out there that have struggled and suffered in silence for so long. Today, I hope and pray that this discussion will serve you as you seek out help, but not sure where to turn. Today, I'm going to share with you some research, some testimony, and some hope to that end. I want you, sister, to gain confidence that you are not alone and that you can win this battle. Before we jump in, though, I want to offer two quick resources at the beginning for those of you that may not be able to stick around until the end. The first is this. I want to extend an invitation to you personally to join Covenant Eyes and Living on Purpose as they host the She Conference. This event is a virtual recovery summit aimed at supporting, healing, and empowering women suffering the shame of their sex addiction. This is a free event, October 5th through the 9th, and I'll post a link below so you can get more details and register for those of you out there that are looking for more help specific for women struggling with sexually unwanted behaviors. So grab that link below and check out this conference. I pray that it would serve you well in your efforts to find your freedom. The second resource is this. My personal 4 pillars of a porn-free life. This checklist guide is not written simply for men. I personally have made intentional choices to make sure that the content that I provide is not gender specific. Whether you are a man or a woman, this guide will help you to establish the foundational pillars that are needed to walk away from your sexually unwanted behaviors and start to live your life of freedom from lust, pornography, masturbation, or whatever other forms your sexual addiction has taken. So please, the link is below in the description here on YouTube, and you can download your free guide and start your journey towards freedom today. Okay, now let's jump in. I am so excited to be having this discussion today. Our first big main idea in today's discussion is this. Women struggle with pornography too. Pornography and sex in general is already a hush-hush topic in the church. We rarely hear much from the pulpit regarding sexuality, and even less information is communicated to us specifically for women. Why is that? I'm sure there are a lot of different reasons for this, but I want you to consider this. Could it have anything to do with the fact that some of our pastors are looking at porn themselves? In a 2016 Barna study entitled The Porn Phenomenon, we learn in that survey that 1 in 5 youth pastors and 1 in 7 lead pastors are looking or watching porn regularly. 50% of those surveyed that said that they watch porn regularly consume it at a frequency of a few times per month, all the way up to multiple times per week. Note that the question in the survey targets porn use specifically. If there were a way to measure the hearts of these leaders specifically and the lust that they live with, we may find that their struggles are even more prominent than the stats reveal. I know this conversation today is about women specifically, but what I'm trying to understand is why sexual sin isn't talked about more in our churches in general. Could it be that many of our pastors are stuck in their own sexual sin and in good conscience can't attempt to help others who are stuck themselves? I'm not sure, I'm just speculating, but generally speaking, sexual sin is not being discussed enough in our churches, but when it is, it's almost always targeted toward men. So this leads us to the point of our discussion today. Our women are suffering their sexual struggles in silence. I want to introduce you to Joy Pedro Scarca, a friend of mine and a fellow minister of the gospel serving specifically in this arena. She is currently the director of discipleship at Authentic Intimacy. She is also currently getting her doctorate in educational ministries, specifically focusing on sexual shame. Joy has her own testimony of sexual brokenness, and God has given her a passion and an opportunity to serve women who are fighting to find their freedom. If you want to connect with Joy further, I'll post some links below to get connected to her. But the reason I bring Joy up specifically is as I was preparing the content for this video, I reached out to her and wanted to ask her a couple questions about her ministry specific. I let her know about this specific video I wanted to do on women and pornography and said, Joy, if you had one thing to share with the viewers, what would you say? Here was her words of wisdom. Women struggle too. When talking about porn, we need to address men and women. Porn is not just a man's issue, it's a people issue. And when we fail to address women, we create more shame in a woman's heart, which keeps her in the chains of addiction. These words coming from a woman who is yearning for hope and help when facing her own sexual brokenness, but struggled to find anyone who was speaking about the issues that she was facing. That same Barna study that we referenced about pastors and porn revealed that 1 in 4 women seek out porn and 3 in 4 women come across porn regularly. In a 2019 Psychology Today article, Sarah Murray, PhD, noted this. Many studies on women and pornography may produce skewed results because of the outdated social standards. What I believe Sarah Murray intends in her statement is that sexual acting out has historically been more acceptable when men do it. So what I believe Sarah Murray intends for us to deduce from her article in Psychology Today is that women and pornography numbers are likely higher because there's an increased shame, even culturally speaking, not even in the church, when it comes to women being sexual in nature. This leads to women, when surveyed, likely answering these questions dishonestly. The point is simple. Even the studies, I think, probably underestimate the amount of women who are using pornography on a regular basis. I want to introduce you to one other woman, Jessica Harris. She is a blogger and spokesperson for women dealing with sexual addiction. She shares some of her story in a piece that she wrote for Crew entitled, "To the Woman Addicted to Porn, You Are Not Alone." I'll post a link to that article below in the notes, as well as a link to her website, Beggar's Daughter. What I'd like to do in this second main idea is offer some hope and help for you women that are suffering in silence. To do so, we're going to reflect on the 3 main ideas that Jessica includes in that article she wrote for Crew. We'll do that under the final main point that I want to make here for you today, friend and sister. It's time to step out of your hiding and to crush your shame. In Jessica Harris's article, there are 3 main ideas that she discusses. The first, you're not alone. The second, shame thrives in secret. And lastly, freedom is always worth fighting for. I'm so encouraged by all 3 of these points that Jessica makes So let's look a little bit further into each of them. The first one, you are not alone. In the article linked below, Jessica shares this. When I was first exposed to pornography at the age of 13, I thought it was fun. I felt accepted. I felt like someone wanted me. It was an escape from the memories of an abusive childhood and the pressures of an awkward teenage life. I hope that giving voice to women like Jessica and Joy, along with some of the other information we've talked about today, will help you, sister, to know with confidence that you are not alone in your struggle. What you are struggling with today is common to so many other women. I know that this seems unlikely given how few conversations are being had about this topic, but many other women are suffering sexual unwanted behaviors too. Additionally, the relative silence around this topic for women make this all the more difficult for you to find the courage to make your own confession. This was easier for me as a guy because it was more widely accepted and known that men struggle with sexual brokenness. This will be an incredible act of courage for you to step out of the hiding. But sister, listen to me, you can do this. There are others waiting to join you in your fight for freedom. Okay, so for Jessica's second point, shame thrives in secret. Friend, what a great point. Thank you, Jessica, for this point. And you that have been watching these videos know so much about my passion to help you overcome your shame of sex addiction. We talk about this often as the first and greatest hurdle that you must overcome if you want freedom from these behaviors. But know this, shame is common to men and women. Going back to the Garden of Eden, we see Adam and Eve both experiencing shame around their nakedness once sin had entered their world. The shame for you, sister, though, doubles down in this moment because it's not just the sexual addiction, it's also that you're a female struggling with it. You have come to believe that women should feel more ashamed of their behaviors around sexual brokenness. But listen, Jesus wants to meet you in that place of shame and draw you and lead you out towards your freedom. If you need to work through this conversation of shame further, I'm going to post one of my recent videos on overcoming the shame of sex addiction. So please find that in the tag above or in the notes below in the description and work through this. It's such an important part of your recovery dealing with the shame of sex addiction. And the last point, freedom is always worth fighting for. A life without porn or whatever sexually unwanted behaviors that you have will be so much better when it's gone. You've got to believe me. You have to listen here. There are so many others like myself, Joy, Jessica, and many more that have gone before you and have begun to live a life free from their sexual addiction. Jessica concludes her article with the following. You don't have to be controlled or defined by this struggle. You may have an addiction, but you are a treasured child of God. Your freedom, sister, is possible and profoundly enjoyable. Don't wait to go after it. Today could be your day, friend. So, simple message today. Women struggle with porn and sexually unwanted behaviors too, and it's time to crush the shame and walk in freedom. If you are one of my friends who is female, it's time to move out of the hiding into the light, find the power of community, start working through the things that are leading you to these behaviors, and come up with a plan of action to walk away from the addiction towards your freedom. Sister, you are not alone in this struggle, and you will not be alone in this fight. There are many opportunities, some of which we've pointed to today already, so please make sure you check the notes below. There are lots of opportunities for you to step into your recovery, to step into your journey towards freedom, to find God's help, His deliverance, His grace for your sin, His hope for your future. God has a massive, amazing, enjoyable plan for your life that no longer includes sexual addiction. You've got this, girl. I know you do. I am praying for you. If I can help in any way, please reach out to me. I'll help you myself, point you towards others that can help. If you haven't downloaded the 4 pillars of the porn-free life, start there. Register for the She Conference. Take advantage of all these opportunities and find your freedom. It's for the taking. It's yours. Until next time, I love you. I'm praying for you. God bless and go in peace. Find your freedom.